you so much, everyone, for staying with us. We will move in straight into the issues of the economy. And of course, officially, we know that the nation's economy is in recession. But what is the way out? That seems to be the question everyone is asking. These are some of the issues generated when the president was in New York for the United Nations General Assembly meeting. And of course, back at home, when the National Assembly resumed, how we're going to get the nation out of recession was also paramount on the lips of the federal lawmakers. The Senate president in his speech has asked that the advice made by the business mogul Aliko Dangote that we should be selling off some assets to be able to shore up our reserve. There's some of the suggestions brought into the table. Some people are asking that we should have the President Muhammadu Buhari to reshuffle his cabinet. Several suggestions coming on the table. But one lawmaker who raised an issue that Nigeria is not even in recession, he said, we do not have any business in having an economic crisis, considering the fact that Nigeria has enormous wealth. That's the man that we'll be talking to on the program today. Is Honorable Johnson Agboima. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you came up and you said there is about $17 billion stolen from undeclared crude oil and liquefied natural gas exports to global destination. You raised that motion for investigation into that matter. But first and foremost, before we get deep into what all of that is all about, tell us, should we be selling the state assets?
Well, first of all, our views, Nigeria belongs to all of us. I would say no, because we have failed in all ramification, not been able to bring to bear, to be responsible, to be accountable. Where Nigerians' money, our wealth, our resources, is in private hands.
As you speak.
So, for me, selling government assets shouldn't be what we should be talking about. Seriously, those who are clamoring for that, there's a reason behind it, which I don't want to get into. But what is important, I want every Nigerian to stand up, to rise up. I'm challenging the Nigerian Labour Congress, all the civil society group. This is the time they need to stand firmly together to protect this country. This country belongs to all of us. So there's no reason they should be talking about selling government assets.
Those are suggestions that are being made. In fact, the National Economic Council have also agreed that there will be need because we need more.
Because those people in the helm of affairs have failed. They are some of them are there to sabotage Mr. President.
How do you mean sabotage?
Because they have no capacity.
Who are those?
Well, do you know them? You talking about the governor of Central Bank?
You just said.
You talking the governor of Central Bank, the Minister of Finance? Do they have the capacity? Mr. President, I'm serious. Unfortunately, he means well. He wants this country to succeed. I want the president to succeed because if Mr. President succeed, Nigerians succeed. Whereby Nigerians, youth empowerment, the women empowerment, every Nigerian begin to jubilate and celebrate. That's so that we can be among the leading nation. Not for those that is in the helm of affairs today, they have nothing to offer. They are the one that brought us to where we are today because of wrong policy.
Honorable Agboima, a lot of people will say that the recession didn't just start now. And
yes.
People who are trying to fix it are getting their hands deep into on the table. I mean, if you say that they are not capable, you might be unfair to them.
Let me tell you, take you back to memory lane. Okay? The leadership of this country have always been a problem. When we take one step forward, we take 2, 3 steps backward. If, for instance, if we're able to save for the rainy day, to think about tomorrow, to think about the future, the unborn children, because we're not able to plan for a better tomorrow. So we have failed. Nigerians have failed. Even we, where we are supposed to speak out, we don't speak out. When we are supposed to protest, not violently, we don't do that. We sit down and asking God to help us. God has given us so much wealth. We have mismanaged the resources that belong to the people. This is the time that the people must say, enough is enough.
Okay. What would you say that the president and his team, with his policy they're bringing up, they're on the right track?
Well, some of the policy, yes. But the real fundamental policy, talking about what brought us to this menace in the issue of the economic crisis, the recession. Let me also say, yes, there's a global problem. The recession is a global issue. But our own problem, when we say we are broke, Nigeria is broke, Nigeria is not broke.
Nigeria is not broke?
It's not broke.
How? A nation that is in recession is not broke.
Nigeria's money is in the hands of the cabals.
Where are the cabals? Where are the cabals?
Where the cabals? They are there. They have made this country. Where a country, today, we don't even know the quantity of crude produced. Even our wells are not metered. Okay?
How do you mean they're not metered?
They are not metered, so it's free for all. Where the multinational company, they have come to this country, raid this company, they have stolen so much from this country. Brother, it is appalling, it is disheartening. What I have seen so far, I've been doing a thorough investigation about the reason why I move a motion.
There is a plan to refine about 2.2 million barrels of crude per day. That's the plan of government in the budget. And you're saying that beyond that Nigeria does not have the data and the specifics of what we get as crude oil from this country.
Let me tell you why I most respect the former president Ebele Jonathan, for a singular act in 2011, thereabout, when he decided to set up a committee to overlook, for us to do a holistic, that forensic audit, to audit crude oils that leave this soil, going to global destination, because the information that was coming to him was also bad news. So he went about it and set it up, and guess what? The report, when you look at the report, detailed, comprehensive report by the company that the government engaged, called Molecular Power System, Nigeria Limited. They were able to, at least hire a competent, company in America to track that is oil, that is crude oil and liquefied natural gas that left the soil of this country. Let me also tell you today that they were able to track, they have a satellite mapping system to track every vessel that left this country. On the Nigerian part, NNPC, you will see in a situation where what left this country recorded 0, but what landed at the global destination is a different figure. By the time you calculate everything together, you begin to wonder what is happening to our dear nation. So the multinational company, who in collaboration with some of our companies in Nigeria and some cabals, should be brought to book.
Okay.
Those found wanting, this is not the time to say, oh, don't mention names. The names will be mentioned. Yes.
Of those who are allegedly...
The collaborators, the cabals that have defrauded Nigeria's money. Nigeria is rich, is blessed.
Okay, let's look at some of the allegations that you have brought forward. If you would find it on your screen, there is a report that from 2011 up to 2014, and this is what the report has said, that the recoverable shortfalls from undeclared crude oil exports to global destinations. Take a look. It says over $17 billion allegedly stolen from undeclared crude oil exports to global destinations. 57,830,000 of barrels of crude were taken out of Nigeria to about 51 countries. And in total, about over $17 billion are not declared. Also, if you look at in liquefied gas, still on the crude oil, that says that United States of America is the largest receiver of such crude oil. Over $12 billion to the United States, over $3 billion to China, and over $800 million to Norway. Those are the funds Honorable Agboyima has brought to the table, that these are the funds that we have that could be recovered by Nigeria. What about liquefied natural gas and the shortfalls that we cannot account for, or the monies are there in other, and the quantity is 727 1,460 metric tons. That's huge, which brings us to about $461 billion outside of this country. So all of this put together is what Honorable Agboyima has presented on the floor of the House. And one will be wondering, if we have all of this on the table, why should we say we are in a recession? Because this money will actually jolt the economy back to life. But again, you've brought all of these allegations, and you said this report has been on the table because that investigation was between 2011 and 2014. What has happened between 2015 and now? Well,
of course, that's the question I should ask the government of the day. So I want to join hands in supporting Mr. President's effort in fighting the menace of corruption in our dear nation. It requires every good citizen of this country to pray for this nation, also to join hands with our leaders who mean well. But some want to reap where they did not sow, at the detriment of the ordinary Nigerians. Sincerely, I also want to appreciate the role that the U.S. have played, especially the U.S. Customs, who brought a comprehensive details. And if we have hired maybe a Nigerian company, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are today regarding the information that is available to us.
So one will be asking the question, how do we get this $17 billion that you're talking about? How do we get them back to Nigeria?
Thank God that the Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, have been able to support me in this effort, because I'm going to be honest to you. At the time, a lot of people never wanted this to see the light of day. The moment I moved this motion, I know how many phone calls I have received. Nigeria belongs to all of us, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart. It's so sad to see Nigeria, after almost 56 years, we are still learning how to crawl. Is it a cause that God had given us these wonderful natural resources, mineral resources, human capacity? At the end of the day, we only think about ourselves because we are always about selfishness, not selflessness. Thinking about the people, putting Nigerians first. Definitely we will get somewhere. We are not where we used to be, but we are not where we ought to be, but we are progressing. But that progression must be a progression that will bring good dividends of democracy to the doorstep of the people, where government, look,
all right, we need to go on
to the people.
I need to pause it for a moment, because we need to go on a short break, and when we return, we'll be asking the question, how do we get these monies back home? That's after now.